Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a world first video that's going to explain the physics of our flat earth model. So as soon as you get it, you're going to want to share this because we want to get it out as quick as possible. No doubt people will deny it and then just plagiarize it like they've been doing lately with my work. I'll just show you an image where you can see things are starting to move. I got this offline the other day. There's on Facebook talking about modern technologies that are coming up in the near future or whatever. Anyway, there's my model next to it. I've been explaining how it works basically over the last 7 years. Okay, so here's my model. There's my model. You might have seen it before. So I know the whole system, and I'm going to explain it all in this video. There's a lot of information involved with it. I'm just going to rattle it off the top of my head. But you know, if I did enjoy writing, it would be a big paper, because it goes on and on and on. The flat earth system is not simple. The globe is simple to keep people simple. Back in the day we had scientists at the age of 20. You know, we got children now at the age of 20 that can't even put their plate in the sink, let alone think of anything to do with the nature of our realm. So first of all, we need to know that they've known the whole system for more than 100 years, but the ancients have known it since the beginning of time. That's why it's all written. I can interpret their scriptures, their esoteric scriptures, and break it all down. It started off with the Egyptians, but then I started reading all these ancient stories, and it just a lot of puzzles put the whole picture together. So more recently, you can refer to some John Searle generator videos. There might be an E on the end of there, I'm not sure. John Searle generators. He spoke of the same sort of thing, the way the system works. See, what we have to understand is our realm is non-physical. There's nothing physical above us. Our whole realm is created through a non-physical concept. It's all of the mind, really. But in this perceived physical world, we create the physical. So we replicate what's going on up there. So for people who have people don't have any idea, you've just got to imagine it all works the way I'm about to describe it, because we all understand it in the physical world. It works in the physical realm. And in the last 10 years or so, we've seen a lot of magnetic models online regarding that north-south, north-south, north-south. I'll get onto this page here first. How our flat earth system works. We've got to understand the central northern hemisphere, just like the model I showed you, or even this. If you imagine the center northern hemisphere is in here, separated with a tropical gap, and then a bigger, wider, dispersed southern hemisphere. Well, the central northern hemisphere is the Arctic centre, or the black hole's right in the centre actually, but there's the Arctic centre. There's north, or we have to say Arctic actually, because they are both north poles. And then out here we've got 66.6 degrees. That's the mirrored replication of the Antarctic, the Sigma Octantis, Polaris. This is what they called it. Polaris and Polaris Australis. But this is the Antarctic. So it's the mirrored aspect of the north. And all the stars in the south are the same stars as the north, but they're inverted, inside out. And they're turning the opposite directions or coming into each other like this. So what's happening is the whole southern hemisphere, separated by the tropics, moves around the centralized northern hemisphere, right? And the way it turns, it's day night, day night, day night, which is, you know, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. You've seen that in all the magnetic array systems they've built, how it managed to turn each other. They're just drawn to each other. This is the offset, right? And this offset is what creates the curving magnetic field lines. And I'll get into that in the next page. But that's basically what's happening here. So we've got the tropical gap, and the seasons change when it starts coming in. And what happens is the season changes via the ecliptic plane that's at the top of the 3D vortex. This is going to get very difficult to understand, okay, but just bear with me and I'll try and go over things. It's all controlled by a centralized vortex, just like the human body is controlled by its vortex called a heart. Okay, so what happens in the season, that the south draws in to the north and then draws back out, and as it's drawn out, which is after the 17th of October, the two these are opposing poles. They're the same poles, which keeps them further apart. But as the season changes and it comes in, it creates the offset. So that they're not adjacent, they're getting offset, and that that's drawing the season in. The southern hemisphere pole is coming in. You know, they're both turning. So instead of turning out here after October 17th, the seasons change and this offset starts happening, which allows this south pole and north pole to move like this. Well, sorry, let's go back to two south poles. You've got to imagine there's two south poles and they're separated. That's basically what separates the tropical gap. But as the season changes, the south is getting drawn into the next pole, north like this. Okay? That's what draws it in. I'll get into the next page in a minute. This was supposed to be the second page. My pointy stick. We need to run over a few things. So, we know in the prior clock and the Antikythera mechanism, the proper astronomical clocks, they have they show that in a circle of the changing season, the sun moving, right? Well, that's basically how it works with this field. It moves in and moves back out. We see it there. You know it works. And it's a 2D, basically a 2D representation, isn't it? It's not spherical. No. So there's your, say, if this was maximum, these two poles here would be the same, opposing each other as the field turns daily. But like I say, as it moves in, you start getting an offset. Okay? Which draws it in closer, which starts drawing it in because they're opposite poles. Okay? And on top of all this, you've got to understand that it's a 3:2 ratio. That's 3:2. And just on one meridian. But you've got infinite all the way around. Infinite cycles of this 3:2 ratio. That's why we get this shape of sun in a lemma. So as the sun moves in, as the south moves in, the days get shorter and the opposite magnetic pole gets closer to the meridian. And you know, the alignment, the meridian. So the opposite end up, which become attracted, you know, that's what draws it in, the way it's over, when it starts to overlay, the 3:2 ratio. You've got to think of this North Pole, South Pole system. drawing in like this, because it's not drawing in here, it's just turning. It's not, but then it starts changing, creating the offset. So think of it as a meridian line from there to there, direct line, this point, that point. More direct, same pole. When the fields are separated. Let's reload that again. As the south moves in, the days get shorter. The southern days get shorter. And the opposite magnetic pole in here, in this gap, get closer to the meridian. Get closer to the alignment. So it's offset here. Offset. Well, if I said that, explained that wrong. Get closer to the meridian. Yeah. Yeah, the opposites will. It starts getting drawn in. Yeah. When the fields are separated, like after the 17th of October. Yeah, more direct. So they're more direct when these two are opposing each other. Then we go deeper and realize what the ancients were telling us about bronze. They were actually referring to brass, I think. Brass. Got to understand the properties of brass. And the brass is basically a 2-to-1. How do they write it? Or 2-to-1. Either or. So you've got, say, 33% nickel and, say, 66% copper. That's brass, right? Bronze is different. That's iron and copper. But you've got to understand these properties. This what was this? Zinc. Zinc and copper. And in the ancient texts, it talks about this all the time. The bronze between the tropical gap here, because that's where basically the dielectric, the field, the electromagnetism is being created, and this sort of confines it. The field's not magnetically attracted to this, so it flows freely through the gap. But there's more. That's on the next page, so we'll get into that in a minute. But while we're here. Nothing is true about the globe model. For starters, the Earth's magnetic field does not cross over the tropics, and a dip compass points down at both Arctics. So how can one end of the ball be an outfield and one an infield? LOL. Earth's south poles are at Cancer and Capricorn, okay? Because these are both north poles. The dip compass dips at both poles. South is here. Meaning, you've got to think day and night, day and night, day and night is the positive and negative, or north and south pole of each one. I need like a massive board with about 3 sliding to explain it all. I've just crammed in as much as I can here. This doesn't give you the whole picture. So it's all connected to religion, you see. You'll make the connections later. Jesus died on the cross. This crossover. At the sun, crossover. Balance. See the cross member is the balance. The meridian, you could say. Cross balance. Or the arrow. The shoot, the spear they talk about in earlier, and all sorts of stories about getting a direct hit. A direct hit across here. That's where the connecting points are. That's what you're concerned about. Or skimming off, where you hold your shield and the arrow skims off. It's all described in the story about this factor here. Look, it could be skimming off. So it's talking about alignments or this angle here. Balance, the true equinox, equal night, not equal day and night, which is down here. When the sun and moon does not move in declination, the Earth's magnetic dual system is balanced. Balanced. even though it's a 3 to 2 like this, this overlay, this field overlaying this, reduces this field down to balance with this one, the northern hemisphere. In reality, the fields are an imbalance of 3 to 2, or 5, close, maybe 5. The southern hemisphere contracts in to create the balance. You'll find that in an earlier video. Okay? So understanding day and night. So everything in our realm is an exploded view, this exploded image. And slowed down in slow motion, super slow motion. Okay? Let's drop this one now. This is why it's written in the Bible that what is it? Well, 1,000 years on earth is 1 year in heaven or something or other. That's the way it works. Now, this is a slice of the flat earth system. So if you look down the flat earth system, there's your northern hemisphere. Just like that image I showed you on the phone. Small northern hemisphere, a dielectric tropical gap. Then you've got the southern field here. Southern hemisphere. So this is how it works, you see. We have two separate cycles. You do your cycle in the north there, we have a mirrored cycle out here. So the sun comes around like this. This is the positive charge. And then goes negative. But, you know, you've got to really think about this, because you could put that line across there and go, well, that goes over our horizon, that's the day side, and then there's the night side. It doesn't quite work like that, but that's probably an easy way to look at it. If you want to talk about your arc of horizon, everything passes over you. It's all going around the earth, because all creation is lateral, but we see things go over us. Nothing goes under us. So you can draw it like, you've seen these images, ancient images like this, but they can come together to form the cardioid. If you're stationary and you're just looking, doing star trail photography, that's your rotation. If you could follow the stars, they're doing this motion, a loop like this, because they all come out of the central vortex. This here. This is the studio, the projector that creates all the images turning out here in our realm we live in. We live out here. Centre Arctic, Antarctic, Antarctic. It's a slice. Tropical gap all the way around. So you just get it like this. But with a star tracker, you can film the stars coming in. See the arrow? They come in. But they're constantly moving around the earth like this. But because you're stationary, fixed on one position with your eyes, you're getting this rotation here. So if you hung around for an hour, or 360 hours, 24 hours, you get this full cycle. But it's not the same star, because they're continuously moving. So you only get this rotation in star trail photography because your camera is stationary, getting a mirrored representation of the north turning. That's turning, that's turning. So it spirals into a vortex. If this is spiraling into a vortex, then look, it has to spiral in back here. That's what's happening over there. So what would be good with these guys down in Antarctica is if you're down there in the winter and you could film the stars. You could film this. Hang on, no, that wouldn't work. No, you were just watching the stars move out. Yeah. Okay, well, Star Trek, you see the stars just move out. But like I say, you know, already, you're just going to get the fixed stationary rotation because your camera's fixed. And you're getting that mirrored image. Okay? Now there's your 66.6 degree point right in the middle of that loop. Because it's the centre of this loop. It's the centre vortex of the Arctic. There. Now, the same poles create the separation. Like I showed in the previous video. The same poles keep the separation, but the offset changes with the ecliptic plane flexing over the year, so the days get shorter or longer as the south is drawn in and out for seasonal change. After the 17th of October, the magnetic poles are more directly opposite. The magnetic poles, the same poles, are more directly opposite to keep the separation, total separation. Because the phase shift has popped the magnetic field into the south. It's a long story. It's a phase shift after the 17th of October. Each other creating the larger separation, the tropical gap separation. Right, so you've got to think here. There's the negative is night side, positive day cycle. So it's going day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night. So you've got to think of the 24-hour cycle, day and night, is the North Pole, South Pole. North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole over the days. But after 29.52 cycles, because remember everything's in slow motion, they cycle, a negative charge is created at the full moon, by the full moon. This is the charge that creates the electrical. And this is in the book of physics. We marry the moon giving birth to a sun. Sun, S-U-N, for the electrical. So it's shooting around for 29 days, 30 to 57, bang, bang, bang. And we do it so fast, don't we? Bang, 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 send the charge. And the voltage is the sun, isn't it? The actual pure plasma sun. Because that bang that sends up the charge to the Milky Way to feed the pure plasma sun. The pure plasma sun that's locked in this magnetic field in the north. So you've got to consider this is the flux of the magnetic earth, but then here's the void, the ionized negative charge in here. It's the other end of the Milky Way, but all my other videos explain all that sort of stuff. So John Searle talks about all this stuff. Go check out his older videos. They knew. See, they've got he had all these rotating magnets, and he talked about the minerals that were in it, elements, metals that were in the rollers, and you'll find copper and zinc purify your water, energize the water. There's a lot of good stuff that comes out of that combination. So the positive field of day is getting pulled over west due to the offset negative. So so imagine the sun, the positive's coming around, it's getting pulled by the opposing negative way over here, because there's the tropical gap, remember? The offset between the two fields here is what drives the curve, see? That's what creates the curving magnetic fields on our Earth. Because of the offset of the positive and negative magnet, North and South Pole. Okay? So the more offset it is, the more this is drawn in, gets drawn in. And then it comes back out again, where the two same poles start lining up to create the tropical separation. It's all known in physics. So because the whole field is always moving west, we separate this cardioid. It's separating. That's why it comes into this image here. And this is why the ancients have left these symbols. You get these on the nose, the muku of the Maori here in New Zealand. Goes way back in time. So you mean that the field's coming around, but it's continuously moving that way, so everything's drifting. It drifts. So this is why we separate the image. But if you just froze the image, you'd get this sort of concept here. Just the mirror, direct mirror representation. The offset poles, day and night, create the curved magnetic field lines of the Earth. This is your Coriolis, you see. We've always got these curving magnetic field lines. But then you think when they do come aligned to each other, you'd expect the magnetic field line to be straight. But we have to go a bit deeper to start talking about that. But just bear in mind what I've said now. It's the offset that creates the curving magnetic fields, because everything's turning. It's the turning. Why are we getting this? They're not straight and line out at any time properly, perfectly, is because of the 3:2 ratio. Remember, you got to imagine this 3 times. This is twice. You know, that's 2. You got this is 3. The 2:3 ratio between the two cycles. These are not drawn as cardioids. The loop is parted due to the 15 degree per hour drift. It's always drifting 15 degrees per hour. Okay? So one full cycle here would be all the way around there to create the cycle. 360 degrees to come back. That star would come back to the exact same spot after 24 hours. But you've got to bear in mind that the sun's quicker than the stars. So it's going to be out. If you have your camera in the same place, it will be out by 3 minutes 56. Okay? So you've got to okay, that was confused. You'd have to move the star. Oh, you've got to go back. You'd have to move your camera back 3 minutes 56 to catch the exact same star for the 24 hours. Because the sun's shot ahead, it's exposed that 3 minutes 56 more stars ahead to fill the void. Okay? That's why they tell you the stars turn up earlier. But no, they might turn up earlier, but they're not quicker than the sun. Because the sun's shot ahead. So you've got to expose more nighttime, more stars to fill that void where the sun's shot ahead. It's a no-brainer, but people can't understand that. God knows how they're going to understand all this. Okay. So what are we going to? So this charge, boom, every month, full moon, is the negative charge to feed the plasma. But at the same time, as everything's moving slowly here, you've got all these magnetic field lines, and that they will always meet where the sun is. As the sun comes around the tropical gap here, this image here at the end of the Milky Way, because the Milky Way is a straw, remember, it comes out of there over to here. This is the straw, and where we see the image of our sun. So wherever that image appears around the tropical gap, the fields from both sides come in and spin around it and shoot up through the Milky Way to feed the plasma. That runs parallel with this monthly charge, boom. And this is what's written. Mary gives birth to a son. So every month she gives birth to the sun. And in religion, she gives birth to the sun on the full moon only on 5 holy days. So there's 5 full moons of the year. 5 days. Within the 5 days, there will be if there's a full moon in there, that's when she gives the spiritual birth in the religious story. It all runs parallel with the flat earth system. So check every full moon. 5 of those days, not moons, are holy days. Does she give spiritual birth to man, representing the light of man, which is the sun, or S-U-N of man. Okay, still people won't get this, I know. The in and out field of the south that creates the star overlays is what changes the constellations. See? When they come in and out, slowly in and out, it's changing the star formations. Very slowly, because as it's turning, it's bringing in, look, oh, we've got an overlay. We've just created a new constellation for so many days. As it keeps moving in to change it again, and then when it comes back out, it's the sun going up and back out again. So it comes in, say for Virgo, and then when it goes back out, let's say it's got to about there, there's Virgo. Goes in, changes, then comes back out, oh, there's Virgo again. It's the other side of the sun and a lemma. You get Virgo and Virgo. It's coming back up this way, hits Virgo again. Goes down this way, hits Virgo again. Because this is the overlaying system. All in super slow motion. Just imagine our realm, because we're frozen, we're sort of a moment in time. Nothing really changes, but it is slowly drifting through the cycles of time. So imagine how slow it must be when you think, well, you have to shoot round 30 times to go bang, bang, bang. That's your 1 monthly cycle. Okay, so there's a lot more details to go into this, like what the moon is doing and all that, but I've shown that in earlier videos. So it all works with science. They're doing it now. This, opposing magnetic poles. They know all this. So we've got to make dicks of these guys. It's the moron list. All these people here, see? Can't make up his mind, male or female boy, that guy. Bob the Science Guy, I haven't seen him for a while. MC Goon, Dumber and Dumber, Jake Fake and the other moron. Dave McKeegan, When you understand this model, you can't deny it. But these guys have to get paid to keep you away from knowing the truth.